we have in the UK a Labour government now. For those abroad, that's the lefty one, the Democrats sort of the UK. What are your early feelings with regards to the trans stuff, the gender stuff? What are they going to be more sensible than people thought?
Well, Wes Streeting, who's a gay guy, Christian gay guy, appears to be very sensible. He's made all the right moves and said all the right things, unlike Starmer. Wes Streeting, who's the health secretary, has said that he was wrong. Because he worked at Stonewall, the big LGBT charity, and he said he was wrong for ignoring the sort of complaints of women. He's finally got round to saying it was terrible that the Labour MP Rosie Duffield, who was bullied and trolled by trans activists, that was really wrong, and the Labour Party should have done more to defend her. And he's upheld the CAS review into puberty blockers, and subject to, there's a court hearing quite soon, but subject to that, he said that he's going to continue the ban, making puberty blockers banned throughout the NHS. So that's fantastic. I think there's a quid pro quo going on with the lobby, because we didn't hear any complaints from the big LGBT organizations about that. Loads of activists complained, but Stonewall didn't say a single thing about the fact that the health secretary had said there was going to be the continuation of the ban. And so I think they've done a deal behind the scenes on conversion therapy. So Streeting and the entire Labour Party has said that they're going to bring in a conversion therapy ban. That is such a complicated subject, conversion therapy. And I think it'll be difficult to educate the public and the politicians about what the risks are. You know all about the conversion therapy ban. I mean, it's an attempt. It's essentially telling children, telling parents and doctors that you cannot advise a child who thinks they've been born in the wrong body that might be a mistake. That there might be another or exploring other reasons why they feel disconnected from their body. The whole point of a conversion therapy ban is to ensure that the only response is that you affirm that child's statement. Oh yes, you are born in the wrong body. That effectively, bizarrely, means that a conversion therapy ban will promote conversion.
Yes. Because
there'll be loads of these troubled, often gay teenagers, not always, but often, who are confused. And if they can't go to therapists or get care that challenges them gently, respectfully, then you're baking in this delusion in their mind.
They're using, as you alluded to before, with regards to the idea of an agenda, they seem to be using a lot of the horrible parts of the gay civil rights movement, the parts of the horrible reaction and pushback, which was, oh, you guys all have an agenda, so now we can't say that about trans.
Yes.
Equally, the the gay conversion thing, which is, again, I think it's a horrible, barbaric practice. People are gay, they're gay, let them do their life. Horrible, and I've seen it happening in places like Ecuador. I was looking into that in Ecuador, and Ecuador, they banned it, and it actually got even worse because people started taking these kids, like kidnapping them from the church and sort of doing that. Like anything, you ban it, it can get worse. It's so complicated. But again,
that doesn't happen in this country. It's such a lie that it happens in this country.
Gay conversion.
Gay conversion. It can't happen. There's no organization that registers psychotherapists that would allow someone. You would lose your license.
It could happen
to
in
practice.
churches, couldn't it? Or behind closed doors, churches.
Well, but exorcisms happen in churches. Are we going to go into churches and say, you can't tell somebody the devil's inside them? Oh, I mean, good luck. I mean, it's absurd. And so one of the things that this mad woman, Jane Ozanne, who is a lesbian who claims to have gone through an exorcism 40 years ago, which has never left her. She's an evangelical Christian. So, and she did a video where she said, across Britain, young people are being beaten, raped, abused, locked in cupboards to try to convert them. And me and loads of other people said, any of these things are illegal. You can't lock people in cupboards. You obviously can't rape them. You can't beat them up. So it's just a downright lie that conversion therapy is happening in this country, except in some nutty churches. But is that is parliamentary time in Britain going to be devoted to trying to police absolutely nutty churches that do nutty things all the time? I mean,
potentially, yeah. You don't want.
I mean, but potentially, but not at the risk of undermining therapeutic care for thousands of children. To save two people who are deluded enough to go to some crazy, sectarian church and then get shouted at by a pastor. To save these two people, we've to affirm the delusion in thousands of children. It's absolutely.
But can't we just say we ban conversion of gay people, like anyone's sexuality, leave them alone? But however, people who think they're in the wrong body, that needs to be discussed.
Well, that was the compromise that gay organisations, LGBT Alliance, and everybody else. The LGBT Alliance and everybody else said it's not a priority. But if you're going to do the legislation, then that's what you should do. But nobody was. The joke is, Stonewall has existed for 30 years. It only started talking about conversion therapy 3 or 4 years ago. The gay movement, we got gay rights in 1967 in Britain. Conversion therapy wasn't an issue. When there was conversion, there was conversion therapy in the 60s, 70s, 80s. There were still crazy people doing conversion therapy. It's all been removed. It's all been made illegal. No hospital, no clinic would do it. No university would do it. They used to do it. Of course,
and then it's words, isn't it? It's
the gay conversion therapy is just a disguise to get the trans part in, which. That is the story of the entire gay movement now. What happened is the gay movement is sort of the sheep's clothing. It's thrown over this dangerous, madcap, bizarre, unscientific movement, which is the trans movement. And these hollowed out organizations like Stonewall isn't a gay organization anymore. It only thinks about one thing, which is trans rights. Even although nobody can define what trans actually means.
No.
And as for non-binary, I mean...
Oh, don't get... Yeah. I always get really angry about non-binary. It's the one thing that annoys me more than anything. Because I think if you're going to have this theory of a man's a woman, or whatever, and maybe you've got some sort of psychological condition that makes you think that, let's have a discussion at least. I don't believe in that, but let's have a discussion. Non-binary, this idea I'm sort of better than everyone else because I don't have gender stereotypes or whatever, which is the whole point that we're not supposed to have gender stereotypes.
Non-binary, but you're gender fluid. I say, well, okay, and literally, and then they'll say, oh, you're exaggerating when you say that there are some gender fluid people that say that they're male in the afternoon and they're female in the morning. Then you go online and there are people who say that they're gender fluid.
Is that what that means? And gender fluid means changing throughout the day?
No, there are some people who say that they do that, and there's other people who are constantly gender fluid. And then there are people, I mean, there is no rhyme, no reason to this.
Just describing personality traits.
Exactly.
I feel dominant in the morning, and I feel
or
women is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the problem. All these old stereotypes get cooked back in. I'm feeling very irrational. I must be gender male just now. Wait a minute. I think maybe you've slipped into something there.
Yeah. I always say, okay, tell me what it is. You say you're a woman to a man. You say that you actually are a woman. What are some of the traits? Because we need some empirical evidence. What are some of the traits? I've never had. They always say, "Oh, well, it's a social." I can't.
Well, they've now got wiser because it was so obvious the stereotype. So up till about 3 or 4 years ago, you will still get men online who say, I mean, there's one. There's a guy that's got a column who was David Taylor, who was a men's rights activist, public men's rights activist, thought feminism had gone too far. Then, when he started to go bald, funnily enough, about 5 years ago, decided he was a woman, and he's now Diana Taylor, and writes a column in the Telegraph. And he has written things about, I wake up and I feel so emotional. I know I'm a woman.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Has his hair growing back from the estrogen?
Well, I'm not sure. I think it's a wig. But it's a big old wig. Yeah, it does sometimes. Yes, absolutely.
Have you lost your hair? It's not shaved?
No, it's nothing to do with my hormone. My baldness is all natural.
I just think if we could get you some estrogen.
Yeah, it's the tits I'm worried about. I don't think I would suit them.
I think they look great.
If it did suit them, I would do it, but I don't think I would suit them.
Would your body hair fall out from the estrogen as well?
I don't know why you're asking me.
I'm just imagining you as a lovely lady.
Oh, really? We can talk about that later.